Alright, so you guys are probably wondering what the hell kind of ghetto fabrication is this going on here? And this was just done really quickly out of necessity. So let's go ahead, let's get into the video and we'll find out why. Hey guys, welcome back. So for today's video, I was going to actually work on this. There's a compact Presario SR1630 WM Walmart Special with a Sempron onboard graphics. It does have a PCIX slot and it doesn't work. I was going to go ahead and get this repaired and see what we can do with it. But I got a nice little package delivered today. So what I think I'm going to do is open this up and we'll make this our video instead. So let me get set up to open this. Alright, and if you guys hear a bunch of noise in the background, we're having like 40-mile-an-hour winds right now, so it's pretty gusty out there. This is a mystery PC I picked up. It did list, you know, that it was a generic PC, and it had Ubuntu on it, and that was pretty much all it listed. It gave no specs otherwise, so let's see what we end up with. Kinds of packing in here that's making a mess. And she's wedged in there kind of tight, so I hope it's alright. Alright, might have to do this slightly different. And we got a Windows 7 sticker on it here. You can see all the dust from this packing that they used. Alright, get this box out of the way. Alright, here we go. First look. And it's definitely generic. Nothing special about it on the front. Let's take a look at the back. And we do have what looks like a dual slot GPU, PS2 ports, serial port VGA out, or serial port VGA out, parallel port, some USBs, audio. So let's take a look and see what's inside of this thing. Alright, you guys ready? Alright, let's take a look here. Alright, we've got an Asus AM3 Plus board. I have no idea what's in there for a CPU right now. GTS 450. Some dust. Of course, you can't get any without dust. And we've even got a hard drive in here. So, oh, that was the one spec that they did list, was a 1 terabyte hard drive. So that was the main reason I bought it. We got like some really long cables here from the PSU, and the PSU is Seasonic. So if this thing fires up, this might have turned out to be a pretty sweet deal. So let me go ahead and get some stuff hooked up here and let's see what she can do. Alright guys, so here we go. Moment of truth. Yeah, she's making some noise. Fans are spinning. And there we go. Alright. So we're in the BIOS. And we've got a Athlon II X4 645. Hey, that's not bad. I'll take that. jumper free. We can do overclocking on here. And of course on this Athlon though, it'll just be, you know, via the reference clock here. Yeah, this doesn't look too bad. Let's see if there's anything on the hard drive. And she seems a little slow to load. I think we're going to fix that up with an SSD. Is it admin? Nope. 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 I have no idea what the password is on it. Well, I'm not going to worry about it too much. Let me go through and get Windows loaded up in here, and let's see what she can do. Okay, so quick peek at the inside of here again. As you can see, there's no heat sinks on the voltage regulator there, voltage regulation, and it looks pretty anemic for, you know, putting in like 8350. Although there is a heat sink on the north bridge right there. Looks like there's quite a few SATA ports on here, which you can see them down there and right up here. There's also a couple sticks of RAM in there. I'm not sure what they are. I can't see them from here, so I'll pull those out and check them. And then, of course, we got a GTS 450, which is, you know, really nothing fancy, but we'll try it out anyways. Just to, you know, gotta try out what we got here. Alright, so I think to make use of this 1 terabyte drive, we're going to have to wipe it, and it's probably ext4, so we wouldn't be able to do that through Windows. So I think we're going to boot up into a Linux. Yeah, okay, we're going to boot up into Manjaro on a USB, and that way we can reformat that drive, because it's most likely an ext4 partition, and if we try to, if we install Windows on here, it's not going to read that hard drive, so we need to get that formatted to NTFS. Alright, so there we go. We got a 1 terabyte hard drive on here. And we're going to go through, we're just going to clear this out. New primary partition. NTFS. Alright, so we got Windows 10 installed on here, and I think that what I want to do now is I'm going to go through and get drivers installed on it, get some benchmarks on it and all that, and then we'll really put this thing to the test. I got to get some stuff. I want to see what RAM is in here, and you know, a couple other things. We'll get all set up, and then we'll do some benchmarking on this and see what it can actually do. Alright, so in starting to take it apart and to clean it out some, I noticed we got these cute little tiny sticks of Kingston RAM in here. Let me spin that around. Yeah, these cute, very short, height-wise, very short sticks of DDR3. And I noticed, just doing a quick run on it, you know, I had a HW monitor up, I noticed the CPU was hitting 81 degrees, so you can see, you know, the dried on thermal paste on there, and you can even see a line of dust. And if you look closely here, the stuff is so dry it lifted the lettering from the CPU. So we're gonna do something about this. We gotta get everything cleaned up good, get the dust out of here, and get a, you know, another layer of you know, clean this up and get some good thermal compound on there. And the GPU was even smelling a little toasty. It doesn't even have drivers installed on it, but you can see there's quite a bit of dust in there. So that's got to get cleaned out. And another thing I noticed, I don't think that this is normal. Look at how the top is like pushed in on the shroud here. I mean, so much so that the fan actually sits above the shroud. The shroud isn't, you know, protecting the fan at all. The fan is actually sitting above the shroud. Yeah, it's a EVGA brand, but it feels like extremely thin, shitty plastic on here. So anyways, we're just going to clean it up and just put it back in there. Alright, so we've got the GTS 450 all cleaned up, and interestingly enough, besides having just a weird ass little dinky aluminum heatsink under there, this is actually molded this way, so your fan blades stick up. You can tell by looking underneath it, yeah, it is definitely the way this was molded. And there's also this weird discoloration on the board. It looks almost like it was intentional though, just because of the shape of some of it, but I don't know, it's kind of weird. And you can see it's here as well. Not sure what that's all about. But anyways, we're going to put this back in and we're going to run it. I don't expect a whole lot out of GTS 450, but for the things that we'll do, it should be alright. Alright, so for whatever reason, even with undervolting, that quad-core Athlon II is extremely hot chip. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it under liquid. And this is an old E-Machines case that I had, it was just parts, and I had powder coated it and wasn't sure what I was going to do with it. So I just went through and kind of fabricated a mount quick for it for a radiator. You see I don't have all the, I've only got 4 fasteners in it here, but you know what, it's just for testing, and that's micro ATEX. We'll fit our motherboard in there, get the power supply and everything switched over into this board, and we'll put it under liquid. Guys, I don't really have the means to give you a much better view than this. Very limited space here. But what we're going to do is we're going to transplant everything from this case into here. That way we can put this CPU under liquid. And that case is like thick and heavy. Anyway, that's one hell of a case. I have no idea what brand it is, but I'm going to put everything into here. And we're just going to use this case for now, and then we'll probably reassemble that one later. But I've got a whole bunch of AM2 Plus CPUs, Athlon IIs, X3, Phenom, stuff like that I want to overclock later anyway, so it'll be nice to have it set up in here. And while this isn't ideal, it was slapped together really quick for this purpose, so it should work out. So let's go ahead and get everything swapped. Alright, obviously not a permanent solution here, but we've got everything installed in this temporary case. Consider this like a test bench situation here. And as you can see, the majority of, I mean, there's no room for cable management, but the majority of our cable management was just to keep everything out of the fan blades here. So I think we're ready to fire it up and give it a test, just make sure everything works, and then we start doing some benchmarking on it.
mercenaries left. One left. Terrorists win. I need help. Where is everyone? I need help here. I've lost them. They are down. Still opposes us. Terrorists win. Come in, Woodman. Come in. Over. You're coming through loud and clear. Over. We're at the tower. I repeat, we're at the tower. Did the group move? Come in, Woodman. Come in. Over. You're coming through loud and clear. Over. We're at the tower. I repeat, we're at the tower. Did the group move out? Over. Well, that's affirmative. We've made contact. They should be in the vicinity of the tower now. Over.
Shit, they've called in reinforcements. Enemy units headed your way.
Contact! Engage!
Ready. Alright, so to wrap this up, I don't really believe that this 4-core Athlon held back this GTS 450 at all, and I don't believe the GTS 450 really held back the quad-core Athlon II at all. You know, they're both lower end parts, and I guess pretty compatible with each other. The interesting thing, though, this 4-core Athlon II here, it does not like those aluminum heat sinks. You know, it just ran hot at first with a heatsink that came on it. It was running in the 80s and throttling like crazy. So I put a bigger aluminum heatsink on it, and it was still in the 70s and was still throttle. So I have no more large heat sinks with heat pipes and all that to put on there that would fit on the socket. So we just went with liquid, and that made all the difference in the world. I mean, it was ice cold, and we were able to actually overclock it to 4.1 gigahertz. It wasn't very stable at 4.1, so all the benchmarks and everything that you see here were done at 4.0, and it was perfectly stable at 4.0, and you know, you can see from the overlay that the temperatures were good the whole time, and it ran pretty decent. So from 3.1 to 4.0, that's pretty good, so I'm not going to complain. But yep, this was I believe this was just under $50 for the computer the way that it came. And you know, considering it came with you know, with the GPU, motherboard, CPU, even a couple of sticks of I think 1633 DDR3 and 1 TB hard drive, I think it was a pretty good deal. So I'm happy with it, and I can use this to test out a lot of my other AM3 CPUs that I've got. So maybe we can find one that will unlock. I've never been able to get them to unlock on my Sabertooth Revision 1 board, and so they probably won't unlock here. But you know, every time I find an Athlon II, I always pick them up just to see what they'll do and see if they'll unlock, and one of these days I'll get lucky. But yeah, this one doesn't unlock. So, but anyways, despite the sketchy setup, I think this one was a success, and I'm happy with it. So we'll see you guys on the next one.